Okay, this is our little mascot,
Hey.
and we have this design and the design that's on my co-host Bree's side, and then we also have bags.
We're gonna be having stickers.
We also have
We're gonna be.
We have kids
stickers.
sizes too, y'all.
I have my own shirt.
Okay, Bella, that was all extra, and they could see that.
That was crazy.
Oh, I thought you flipped the
Okay.
camera. I thought you flipped the
Now
camera.
she's embarrassed. Okay.
Aw. Nobody told
Everybody,
you to do that.
I'm a
Right.
Hi. Hi, Bella.
Hi, Chow.
Little Milo.
Welcome back to Sinister Sisters, Crime and Curiosity. My name is Ashley, and I'm with my lovely co-host, Brianna, or Bree.
Hi, everybody.
And we are bringing you another wrongful weird death episode. Before we start, I want to do a disclaimer. We are not professionals. We might not have every detail perfectly correct. And we are not claiming to be professionals at all.
Mm-mm.
We are simply two best friends who are deeply fascinated with true crime, strange and unexplained deaths, documentaries, conspiracies, and all the things that leave us wondering what really happened. This is a space for curiosity, storytelling, and discussion. If this isn't your thing, feel free to scroll past. No hard feelings. You have free will to move on. We don't even know you or whatever. And again, we're not professionals.
Love that. To the point, very clear.
Period.
This is just a hobby, people.
Right. Well, hopefully.
And no disrespect is meant.
Right. Hopefully we take off.
That too.
And we become famous and make buco bucks, because I feel like we deserve it in life.
We do.
I feel like we really do deserve it.
On all platforms.
All platforms.
Across the board. That's crazy. I knew exactly what you said. But, okay. So, are we ready?
We are ready, spaghettis.
Okay. So, today I'm going to be talking about the case of Noah Presgrove. And this is on our weird/wrongful death episode, because it is a weird and wrongful death, obviously. But this takes place in Lawton, Oklahoma, in September 4th of 2023. This is starting with Noah Presgrove, who at the time was 19 years old, and he was found, unfortunately, dead on the side of Highway 81 in Jefferson County, Oklahoma. Now, if that's not weird enough, being found on the side of the road on a highway, he also had mixed-match shoes on and was completely naked. So that is not normal. That is not your everyday thing to just discover on the side of the road. But let's get into it. I'll tell you some more details. So, like I said, Noah was 19 years old when he passed. He was a recent graduate from Comanche High School, which is in Comanche, Oklahoma. And he actually graduated, I heard, 3 months early. So he had plans to join the military. Well, specifically, he had plans to join the Marine Corps with his cousin. And I guess he had just lucked out and graduated early and was just waiting for his cousin to graduate at the time. But that is what he was planning on doing, was to join the Marine Corps. But while he was in high school, he was also a pretty good football player. It is said that he played football and also wrestled. And he could have did more than that, because I guess he seemed overall athletic, but I guess he was just mainly known for football, because if you look at pictures of him online and everything, a lot of them show up with him in his football jersey. But moving on, supposedly days leading up to the day that he was found on September 4th, 2023, he had been going back and forth with the idea of going to a rock festival that was, I guess, around the city that he lived in Oklahoma. But then he was also debating with the idea of going to a Labor Day party held by his friends, and ultimately, obviously, Noah would choose the Labor Day party with his friends. And this seemed to be an unfortunate decision, because this is the last time that anybody has seen Noah, was at the party. So, moving on, the party was held by an Avery Howard, a Carter Combs, and a Logan Jernigan. Hopefully I said that right. The party took place on land that was owned by Johnny Wilkinson, but another name to keep in mind in this is Jack Newton, which is Noah's best friend. So I will also get to that in a little bit. But at the party, there was a lot of underage drinking. Supposedly Jack Newton, which is the best friend of Noah, had bought alcohol from a convenience store prior to the party. Jack was underage and should not have been sold the alcohol in the first place. And unfortunately, Noah had gotten very intoxicated, along with, I'm sure, a lot of other people there. And he would later, so this is crazy, Noah, while intoxicated, would later get involved in an ATV accident, and the ATV supposedly rolled over on top of him. But he did survive, and seemed to be, whether it was the alcohol or whatever, walked back to the party from wherever he was driving the ATV, and supposedly he got looked over by some friends, I guess, that, or at least somebody that was there that I guess was similar to a nurse or could have just been a whole nurse, and overall they were just like, you're fine. But keep in mind, he was also very intoxicated, so intoxicated that it was later found that Noah's blood alcohol level was about twice the legal limit, being at a 0.14. So after after the accident, he would return back to the party, he got checked, and everybody claimed that he was okay. I don't know how you're okay, personally, getting a ATV rolled over on top of you, but like I said, I don't know if that's just being like, having so much alcohol in your system that maybe it just helps you not feel it at the time, and maybe you're like invincible at the time because you're just so drunk. But I'm gonna say, I'll just leave that for later, my thoughts on that. But
Your
moving
adrenaline's
forward,
probably rushing.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like to get up from an ATV accident and you're so intoxicated, I'm sure that had something to play with it, something in play. But moving forward, supposedly during Noah's drunken antics, Noah would eventually be running around the party naked. It was stated that a couple girls from the party had tried to clean Noah up in the shower after the accident. I guess he was dirty from mud or dirt or whatever. You can assume whatever you want with that. I don't know why these girls are putting him in the shower. I was not there, but that is what I found in my findings. But anyway, obviously Noah was too intoxicated to do it himself. So I guess these girls were just being nice and trying to clean him up. I'm not sure. But also Noah was trying to sleep in one of the girls' bed, Avery, who was the party thrower. Supposedly this was like her party. And I can't tell you this for sure because I wasn't there, but it is alleged that Noah was trying to sleep with her as well. I can't confirm that. Obviously, a lot of these things I can't confirm, but because I was not there, but these are just things that are online, allegedly.
That's the one
so
where she told him that she had a crush on him.
Yeah. So I guess Noah had found out that this Avery girl had a crush on him, and he may have been trying to sleep with her at some part during the party. And he also wanted to sleep in her bed is also something I saw online, but she said no.
But it was like crazy because like listening to podcasts and stuff like that during the research, it was like he was like, ew, no, you're ugly and fat or some shit like that.
Yeah, we saw something like that on another podcast that we watched. I think he did make a fat comment. But we can't confirm that either, because that's just what people are hearing, you know? But
He said, she said,
I don't know.
so.
Right. Right. So Noah was last seen by partygoers at 3:41 a.m. and he was having a verbal argument with Avery Howard, the girl that supposedly had a crush on him, and Jack Newton, who is the best friend. 3:41 a.m. was his last time everybody's seeing him, and he was in an argument. So a little less than 3 hours later, around 6 something in the morning, is when the first 911 call came out by a man claiming at first that he thought Noah was a deer. But then I guess upon further getting closer or whatever, he told the person on the phone, I think it's a naked body. Noah was found on the side of the road on Highway 81 to be exact. This is in Jefferson County, Oklahoma. Like I said earlier, he was naked. He was wearing mixed match shoes. But there was a pair of neatly placed shorts found by him nearby that were nicely folded. So that's really odd. Some of the injuries that Noah had was a caved-in skull, road rash on his hip, gravel rash on his shoulder, among multiple bruises. And there's also another thing that we heard, Ash, when we were researching, that I guess his fingertips were skinned to the bone.
Yes, like down to the bone.
Yeah. So authorities initially believed that Noah was a part of a hit and run, which is kind of crazy. But medical examiners report that his probable cause of death was due to multiple blunt force injuries, but the manner of death is unknown. So another thing to note here is there was no blood at the scene, there was no debris of any cars, and also no criminal charges have been filed to this day. Noah's family filed a civil lawsuit in June of 2025 against the party hosts, the landowner, and the attendant who sold Jack, Noah's best friend, that alcohol at the convenience store. The court documents reveal that the family believes Noah was beaten to death by one or more partygoers, which I think is a little more easier to believe than a hit and run due to all the injuries that he had. 8 defendants have filed responses denying the allegations, stating that they do not have enough information to confirm or deny. So I think they're basically saying we don't know enough to give you an answer, like, yeah, that did happen or it didn't. So Noah's death was originally labeled as suspicious, but after numerous interviews and reviews of leads, it is not being looked at as murder. So the lawsuit that the family went through, or whatever, however you want me to word it, I'm sorry. Long story short, the lawsuit had included a $75,000 reward for Noah's family for pain and suffering and for funeral costs, which we've done other stories before, Ashley and I, where there has been a lot more money involved. So I think 75 is not bad compared to what this family had to go through. That's just me though. But like I said, overall, Noah's family does not believe he was killed by a motor vehicle. They believe he was dead before he even landed up on the highway, which I kind of do too. Some other theories that I have seen online is that Noah walked into a room where Caleb, Jack's dad, so Jack Newton, the friend that I told you about, the best friend, and Ashley, we were like both listening to this on another podcast. So there's another theory that Noah had walked in on this man named Caleb, who is Jack's father, receiving oral sex from an underage girl, and that might be the reason why Noah ended up, unfortunately, deceased. Another theory is that he was killed by his best friend over Avery, or just a girl in general. That's a whole other theory. Obviously, I was not there. I cannot say that any of this happened to him. But just a couple of things to keep in mind is Noah was also in that ATV accident at the party. So part of me wonders, did he suffer severe injuries due to that ATV accident? And like I said, was the alcohol just making him feel okay at the moment and maybe he succumbed later to his injuries? I don't know, but that's just a whole other theory. And then also he had that verbal fight with Jack. That's the last time anybody had seen him at 3 something in the morning. So that's also not a good look because the last time he was seen was fighting with his best friend. Verbally, not physically. But still, they were fighting. Another theory is maybe it was just the alcohol. Maybe he suffered alcohol poisoning. Well, so we'll talk about this in a little bit. Obviously, he had those bad injuries, right? But another theory is maybe it was just something to do with the alcohol and the friends were scared to like call anybody because they didn't want to get in trouble for being underage and having alcohol. So maybe they just covered it up and the friends just placed him on the highway. I couldn't really tell you. These are just some theories that I have seen and I just thought that I would share. But we can go into this, Ash, like our opinions in a minute. But overall, I mean, whatever happened to him, I think his family obviously deserves some answers. It's terrible that they had to see their son not only dead on a highway, but naked and wearing mismatched shoes. That's really odd. That doesn't make sense to me. There is a Facebook page called Justice for Noah Presgrove. It has over 36,000 followers. You can check that out on Facebook if you want and show your support. But we will have this in the YouTube version, but I will just say it out loud. If anybody does have any information, you can call the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. I'll say the number out loud, but we will have this on the screen later. It's 580-353-0783. So that is what I have on this story. I don't know how his shoes were mismatched. I don't know how he ended up naked, and I don't know how he would end up on a highway. But I don't know. When Ashley and I were talking about it before together, part of me was like, maybe it had something to do with that ATV, and maybe everybody was just scared, but I don't know. I think definitely some foul play was involved. But what do you think, Ash? Okay. I don't know. I think if this intrigues anybody, you guys, there's lots of podcasts on this story, and I just recently found this story. Well, Ashley sent it to me on Facebook. It's pretty popular on social media. I've seen it like on TikTok. There's lots of clips on TikTok about this. But overall, it's just really unfortunate. And something happened at that party, for sure. And I think the parents deserve answers. So this was in 2023, like I said. So hopefully we get some answers soon for him, for the family. Because I don't think that this was just a hit and run.
So I think, are we at the what we think theory thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do want to run with that theory that maybe he did walk in on the dad getting from an underage girl. And even though he did like get into that accident, like yeah, some of his injuries could have been from that. But I feel like they beat him to death and then just dumped his body. Because while listening to that one podcast, there was like he had 2 phones and it was like pinged near him at the time of, I think, like near the time of his finding, and then back at where the party was, like not too long after, and then right back over there.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was, and his body was probably dragged because of his fingers, like being skinned all the way down to the bone.
Yeah. And to have all those bruises
Right.
and everything, I don't think... I don't know, because it's like, was it the ATV? Was he was he beat? I don't know. I don't think it's the ATV no more. When we first were talking about this, I was kind of like, something happened to him in that accident, and like maybe he just succumbed to his injuries later. But why on the highway? Why are you naked? And why are you on the side of the highway?
Right, and that's the other thing. Like, why is he naked? And his
Right.
shorts were folded.
Well, like I had said, I don't know about the shorts being folded. That is weird. But supposedly those girls did try to shower him.
Well,
So
yeah, I
maybe
mean,
he
like,
just.
I don't know. I just feel like something bad happened to him.
Yeah.
And also, did you say that the dad was a cop?
No, I didn't.
His friend's dad?
What's his name? Jack Newton. Jack Newton's dad,
Jack.
the best friend's dad, who allegedly was receiving oral sex from an underage girl, is a cop. So that also does not help.
Right.
So I do agree with. I could see that being definitely what happened. I could see it. I just don't know why he had to be naked. The only thing I can think about with the naked thing is if he just got out the shower with them girls and just never got dressed. But I don't know how far in
Yeah.
between that was, you know what I mean? From like him being on the
Yeah.
highway and him being showered. If that even really happened, we don't know.
Right.
But
Right, because it's basically like he said, she said, and there was like multiple things, like a podcast I was listening. There's like a group of, I'm pretty sure there's like a group of, I forget what the group's name is, and they like beat people up or whatever. I forget the name. You would have to listen and do some more research yourself. Also, there was the thing where like all like a bunch of the parents went to the house that the party was at, and they were like bleaching everything.
yeah. Yeah, there was a
So
whole other part of that I didn't get into. But yeah, like there was like some weird cover up stuff going on
yeah,
that didn't make it look good at all.
at all.
Somebody, if not multiple people at that party, know what happened to him. I just don't know why whoever put him on the highway had to put him on the highway like that.
Right.
And this is supposed to be your best friend. I'm not saying
Right.
the best friend did it, but I mean your best friend was there.
Right.
I don't know. People know. I think it's just crazy because it's no longer being investigated. I don't think so, at least. I think it's just closed. But there's no like manner of death. And that's a shame because you don't just end up naked on a highway for no reason. And the mixed match shoes is weird. And the shorts being near him folded is weird. I don't know.
And I'm pretty sure one of those short shoes were his best friend Jack's shoe.
Because you know, another thing that I thought was, okay, he's really super intoxicated. Maybe he just walked out, he's walking the highway, and maybe he just passed out due to alcohol poisoning and he just died on the side of the road. But not with all them bruises, not with all them injuries. I mean, your skull was caved in. That's not going to
And
happen just.
it was like skinned.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I don't know. Something happened at that party. I just think it's a shame that they just threw him like a piece of trash on the side of the highway. But yeah, I guess we can close this episode and then we can talk to our TikTok people. So
sorry,
thank
I
you
muted.
everybody
Okay.
for listening. Sorry, I was just saying thank you everybody for listening and for watching. And
Yes.
we will catch you on the next one.
We appreciate you. Also,
We do.
remember, everybody, don't be a sad bitch, be a bad bitch.